So you're proud of this chiller?
Yes, I'm proud of this chiller, and it's only getting better.
What's up guys, David Moss Jr. here, and this is Dan, one of the founders of Coldture, and he was in town, came over to the house, he was like, Dave, I'm in town, can I come hang out? So he's here, and I'm like, bro, while you're here, can you like school me on your chiller? I wanna like know all the inner workings of the chiller. This is one of the chillers, if you ever saw the video I posted where these guys, him and Mike, actually challenged me to try to kill their chiller. This is that chiller. I have not been able to kill it, and I wanna learn a little bit more. I will tell you there was a couple things that have been happening, and I'm like, bro, like, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So today we're gonna uncover a lot of those things, and he's gonna teach me a few of the things that can happen to any chiller. So hopefully this is going to be helpful for you, no matter what chiller you have.
It's on a magnet.
It's on a magnet?
Yeah. Hey guys, so yeah, Dave does not get cream of the crop from us, just FYI. So this is actually a refurbished chiller that we sent him, and you can see that the wiring is actually not how it really is on all our units. Our chiller is designed for like serviceability, so if anything goes down, we can always easily repair the wires, change the part, and do all that. In factory, all the wires are super tight and very, I guess, like concealed, but when we do a little repair,
it's not as pretty as he wants us to be. Like,
yeah.
He opens us up, he's like, yeah man, I knew we sent you a refurbished one, and yeah. He's like, oh, the wires don't look as pretty. I'm like, bro, I think that it works, so that's all I care about. I've never even taken the cover off this. I would have never seen that this wasn't perfectly wrapped in some black tape or something like that, dude. So don't even worry about it, bro. Don't even worry about it. He's over here all worried.
This was the cover. The cover slides like this, so you can take out the whole tray. Very serviceable. And then we have the cover plate here, and it's just held on magnets.
Oh, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah, and then all you can do is you literally unplug this, and you plug it in the screen, and now this actually works.
It works without having to even be put together.
Yeah.
So as soon as he got here, the first thing I showed him was that there was some bubbles coming in the line there, and he's like, well, the first thing I'm thinking is there's got to be some air getting into the line somehow. And I'm like, no man, everything's tight. I got everything sealed up nice and tight. There's no way air's getting into it. He literally like turned it off, looked at one thing, and he's like, well, air's getting in literally right here. Yeah, if you don't have the plumber's tape, then there could be some air gaps, and it could make it could make
some air leaks.
Some air leaks and the flow not be perfect. We grabbed our trusty plumber's tape, which is super important. I don't really use it in a lot of my reviews when I'm setting these things up, but I'm learning that it's actually very important. And we put some plumber's tape around all of these little components where air could get in, and now I've got no bubbles coming in. My flow rate has gone up, nothing else has changed, and I'm super stoked that that was super easy. But it could be a frustrating thing, right? Like people buy a cold plunge, they get it all set up, and this isn't something that most people deal with on a regular basis. Yeah. So they're just like, man, I spent all this money, it doesn't work, super frustrated. They call you and you're like, hey, just put a little plumber's tape around that one nip, and all of a sudden it's fixed. Yeah,
especially it happens, especially if you take this piece on and off. It is plastic, so
the pre-filter?
Yeah, the pre-filter. Yeah. Sometimes the thread gets a little bit loose, so all you have to do is just put on a little plumber's tape specifically for this part. All the other ones have contact rings, which seal the hose properly. Also, that's also another consideration. Sometimes the washers fall out of the hoses. Yeah. And that's another thing that we kind of troubleshoot, and that's the process that we go through. When we do see FF error, or any of those errors that indicate that there's an air leak, or if you spot any air in your water.
Well, now there's no air in the water. It sounds a lot better. The filter is actually filling up with water now. At first, the water was only hitting to about right here, and he's like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of air getting in somehow. So it was a very simple fix for me. He took the whole cover off. He's gonna give me a little rundown of how everything operates inside here, and hopefully that's educational for you. All right, so a question that I have, if you can, walk me through the journey of the water. So the water from the actual cold plunge itself, through the hoses, where does the water go through? What is all this inside of this chiller doing? I think a lot of people just buy a cold plunge, get a chiller, get a pump, whatever. They don't really understand what the water's doing and how the water's cooling and how it's staying clean. And I think having a better understanding of that might help the ownership of a chiller and the maintenance understanding just become deepened a little bit.
So what we did right now, we actually just let out some water, so there's some air in the system. So the first thing that is gonna happen is when we turn it on, this is the vacuum pump. It's pumping out all of the air that's in the system right now. And it's pulling the water through and into the system. So this is the first initiation that happens. Every time that your chiller starts and it has a self-priming function, it starts with this, and then when it stops, the
You can almost see
circulation.
the air. You can see a little bit of air bubbles just travel through that.
Yeah.
And while that's happening, you're getting an IFF reading up here, which I think some people see that and they're like, oh no, major error, right?
Yeah. So this sequence can happen for a little bit of time until you got to spin here. You see, you pushed out some air.
Yep.
And this is the circulation pump.
So that's the main pump.
Yeah.
Super quiet.
Super quiet, super small as well. This thing pushes up to 15 to 20 liters per minute.
Really?
So really, really tiny.
Dang, bro.
Yeah. So that just gives you an understanding of whenever there's, you know, whenever you're pushing anything through there, things can get stuck. So the pre-filter is really critical.
Anytime somebody reaches out to me on Instagram, which is a lot, I think a lot of people don't realize how much of like a liaison I am for people who cold plunge out there. And if you're not following me on Instagram, please do. It's at DMoss Jr. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I love helping people out. We actually just sent a personalized video to somebody who had a question about their Coldture chiller. And the response is always really cool when that happens. But yeah, so people do ask me all the time, like, hey, water was flowing great for a while and now all of a sudden it's not. I like to have people send me videos, like show me the filter, show me the water, show me what's going on. And I can see like if the water's super murky, a water change needed. But almost every single time I've ever had someone reach out and say my flow is stopped, it's because the pre-filter is clogged up, and most people don't know how to clean these out, how easy it is, or that they have to clean it out and have to spray it out and get all the stuff out, because it works so good to protect the chillers, and it also like elongates the amount of time you can get out of a regular filter too. But you have to take care of your pre-filter for sure. So
we even had cases where customers would call us and they'd be like, oh, like my pump's not working or there's no flow. And when we get on a video call, the first thing we see is their chiller is directly connected to the connection here, and they don't even use the pre-filter.
That's horrible.
That's a horrible decision, because you have literally the diameter of the pump is like this small. It's like, I don't know, I don't know if that's a quarter of an inch, but very, very small diameter. And so that can get easily clogged with anything from, you know, grass to debris.
Hair happens a lot, dude. Hair, just so you know, hair can wrap around a pump fan and completely burn out your pump. I've seen that happen a lot.
Yeah. So super critical, guys. Please use your pre-filters.
Use your pre-filters and clean it out regularly. You know what? If you think I need to make some videos on how to really maintain your filters, let me know in the comments below that you want to see some step-by-step guides to maintaining your filters on your cold plunge chillers, because I feel like most now are using that pre-filter. And the funny thing is, that's the pre-filter I used as my main filter on the very first DIY video I ever made. Like, that's the only filter I used. And now seeing it as the filter, pre-filter, on almost everybody's cold plunges now, I feel like I should have some royalties, but also it's kind of cool to see like, hey, this thing is so effective, and I'm glad that I used it in the very beginning, but it is extremely effective and it has to be used.
So just a little disclaimer, this is not how you get your chiller. We've been kind of playing around with the wiring here a little bit, kind of showing him pulling and tracing certain components. So the wires are typically, or not typically, always much tighter, and they look like this, like kind of wrapped in this.
Yeah, they're wrapped up nice and tight.
Yeah, you're not going to see any of this. Everything's in one channel.
Perfect.
So it's so critical for us, and I'm very passionate about the fact that how beautifully organized the inside components are in my chiller. So seeing this, I almost hesitated kind of having this on camera, but in reality, yeah.
I'm like, dude, I don't care. Like, it works, and it works totally fine, and I'm okay, just so you know, like, I'm okay with having the most non-pretty wires. As long as everything works, I'm good.
Yeah. So the journey of the water happens like this. You have, in the tub, you have the outlet water out that's gonna go suck the water from the bottom, gonna go all the way around through the pre-filter into the pump. It's gonna go up here, it's gonna go into the secondary pump, the 20 micron.
That's the filter, right?
It's gonna come out of here, and then it's gonna go into the heat exchange. So the heat exchange is right here.
Okay.
The water goes in through there and then out, and then it goes all the way back into the tub.
Really? So the water doesn't like travel through all of this stuff?
No. It's only, everything is here. This is why, like, we specifically designed this chiller to separate the electrical and all the other refrigeration components. So what happens is, actually, it's very cool. The traditional refrigeration cycle, you have heat plate. This is the heat exchange. It's literally a heat plate where you have gas that comes in through here. The compressor compresses the gas. The gas goes through here. It exchanges the temperature, and the gas goes back here. It pulls the heat. If you're cooling the water, it's gonna be giving off heat.
Yeah.
If you're heating the water, it's gonna give off cold.
Okay.
And it's gonna go back here, and this is a continuous cycle.
So the water goes through the water's moving around here.
Just here.
Over here is the gases that are either gonna cool or heat up the water.
And then you have the control board and all the electrical in here. So
interesting.
So we specifically cleaned it up. I don't know how these systems are going to look like, because that was our design.
And that's the cool thing. That's one of the things I really like about Coldture. And I've made a lot of videos in the past about certain chillers and how like some of them are just mass purchased from overseas and there's really no hands-on. There's a lot of the brands, not manufacturers, a lot of the brands don't have any say in the manufacturing process. And that's why I've really tried to like double down on the brands that do have a say and are making changes and are constantly making improvements. Coldture being one of them. And that's why you see me make a lot of content with this brand. It's easy for me to recommend if somebody's looking for a cold plunge when there's minimal problems, and not just minimal problems. If there is ever a problem, they jump right on it and want to make it right, and they want to fix it for the customer. And the feedback I've got from you has been amazing. It gives me guidance. So if there's a brand that you are like, David, like, why aren't you ever talking about this brand? Or if there's a problem with a brand and you're like, David, I'm having a massive problem with this brand, even if it is Coldture, please DM me on Instagram, let me know, because I have a direct line of communication with a lot of the founders and they care, like they really, really care. And I'm stoked to have you here at the house, like showing me this, because like, even though this might seem elementary to you, like what you've already shown me and taught me today makes a lot of this make a lot more sense. And it's just gonna make the content I'm able to make on future videos just that much better.
This chiller is both hot and cold. What happens is basically when you switch from hot to cold, you have this little switch here that reverses the direction of the refrigerant. So instead of heating and like instead of going like one direction, it switches and goes the other. And it's really cool because that way you can heat and cool your water.
And that's one of the things that I did try early on is a lot of the cold plunges that had heating components, in my experience, weren't great. And that was when I tried to go from cold to hot, that's when the chillers just, I don't know if it was they just were overworked, but they just stopped working. And when I made those videos, you're like, David, I want you to try to kill this one. Like go from cold in the morning to hot at night and just do it day in, day out and see. And I couldn't kill the chiller, so it was impressive.
Yeah, and another reason why you couldn't kill the chiller is because we have a really high efficiency refrigerant in here, which is R32. Traditionally, all the other refrigerants are R40, like 410A. That's been kind of the standard before, but now since they're phasing it out, now we're moving on to R32, and cool. We were, one of the first to start using it.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. If you are watching this, you do know I love Ozone, but their chiller does not have Ozone built in. There is a good reason why, and I actually just learned a lot about that. Dan, do you mind explaining a little bit more about this?
Yeah, so Ozone is super corrosive, and that's why it does such a great job in sanitizing the water. Ozone, you have to either have a mixing chamber to mix the water into the water line, or just shoot it directly into the water like you have here. What we found over our extensive, time in the industry is we're actually super focused about reliability. And what we found when we did add Ozone into some of our prototypes is that it actually corroded the components over time. So you would actually get component failure and like downstream component issues for that. So we actually said, you know what? We don't need to do that. We just removed it, and that way you can actually have a chiller that's gonna last you for years to come.
That's pretty interesting. And I have noticed like a lot of the all-in-ones either have kind of gone away from having Ozone built in. And even some of the DIYs, I know that there was some people using like Venturis and stuff. The Venturi is great because it's after the water goes through everything, and it's added in at the very end. So if you do look at like the Coldture Plunge Light, which I have
and the Pro
down there, and the Pro, they do have Ozone, and I love Ozone, but it's injected into the line after the water's already gone through all of these components. So definitely interesting. Learning some stuff, guys.
So another great point is if you, whether this is a Coldture chiller or any other chiller you have, a way to understand whether you're actually cooling is to put your hand in front of the fan and feel if the air is warm or hot, that's when you're trying to cool the water. And if it's the opposite, if it's cool, when trying to heat the water. And the theory here is that you're basically pulling out the heat or the cold that you don't want to have in the water. So if you're trying to cool something, you're pulling the heat out, and that heat is getting expelled like through the air.
Dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the air is hot, like, and it is warm, and that's another reason why, like, you don't necessarily want the fan blowing hot air into your cold plunge, because then it might just add a little additional work that your cold plunge is going to have to keep working through.
Yeah, that's why you need like a good insulated tub.
Yeah.
The Coldture does a great job of insulating the tub. But one thing that you might have, if you have a warmer, if it's shooting directly, you might have some moisture, some condensation.
Yeah.
So that's just a consideration when it gets really, really cold.
Interesting.
If your chiller is running, your water is not cooling, you come back in 5 hours and the water is the same temperature. This goes for any chiller. And you're like, what's going on? You know, it seems to be working, but it's not cooling. That means if you actually go and feel if the air is warm or not, it means that you have a problem with your refrigeration cycle, with the circuit. So it could be maybe a leak of the refrigeration or something of that matter.
Dang, bro.
Yeah.
Schooling me on this.
See, the fan just stopped. And you can actually, if you try to listen in, you can't really hear much. But the fan, this is running right now. And it's circulating the water.
Yeah, the water's moving. And the water is at the set temp we have it right now.
It's at 56.
56 degrees.
And yeah. So you can hear how quiet it is, and with the casing on, it's even quieter than that.
Yeah, I never hear it. Never hear it. It almost, I come up here, I'm like, oh crap, my power tripped or something.
Yeah.
But nope.
It's good.
It's quiet, bro. The pump gets a little warm, you said?
Yeah.
Oh, and you can feel, yeah, you can feel it moving. But you can also like just take a look at your filter and see the water moving.
Yeah.
That's insane, bro. It's super quiet.
That's something else that we were really working on, is having a really good, like really good components. It's kind of hard to see the difference between a good pump versus a bad pump, but it's how quiet it is, the size. Some of the bigger, bulkier ones are actually not as good, and just the components themselves. Like we have a ceramic disc in the pump.
Really?
Which makes it like last extremely long and doesn't wear out, and the parts within there are just really high quality.
So you're proud of this chiller?
Yes, I'm proud of this chiller, and it's only getting better. Every iteration we get feedback. Something else that's new with this chiller is that we have this screen here.
Oh yeah. What's that?
Yeah, this screen. You have to take this off. It's on magnets.
Just sit on the top?
Yeah.
Right? Or no, can you?
Yep.
Look at that.
So this prevents any of the, you have a little bit of
lint, fuzz,
any hair. You can pull it out, boom, and just clean it out. This is also sometimes a consideration. If, for example, you don't have cooling, you don't have really good cooling, it could be that your filter is clogged. So that's another thing. Or, like again, talking about other chillers, could be that your coil is also clogged. So you have to go in and like clean it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never thought about that. I wonder, like, on all of these little Active Aquas and stuff that I've used, I've never taken the cover off.
So probably the efficiency goes down because it's trying to work hard. It's trying to pull air through like already a blocked kind of surface.
Right.
The efficiency of it goes down. Instead of cooling in, this one in like 10 hours, now it's going to cool in 24 hours.
Dude, that's wild. That's wild. Do you guys think we should open up the Active Aqua chiller and take a look inside that? I've had so many people ask me like, David, how do I maintain my Active Aqua chiller? I don't freaking know. I've never done it. No one from Active Aqua has ever reached out to me and said, hey man, like, thanks for talking about our chillers. We'd love to teach you more. It's all self-taught stuff. So if you could teach me some stuff and we could teach the viewers some stuff, I think this would make this video even more valuable. What do you think? Like this video if you're getting value out of it. What do you think?
Cool, for sure. I think everybody should reach out to you.
Let's go.
This is a SIN number for each chiller, so we know everything that goes down. Something really important is every single chiller, we control every component. So we have really strong parts tracing, which in manufacturing terms is super critical, because if you get a batch of compressors, for example, that for some reason are not working, you can trace it back to which batch it came from, which supplier, and diagnose and fix that problem from festering on.
That's awesome. So is there any benefit to you as the manufacturer and the brand and the consumer to like using the app?
Yeah, the app is wonderful actually. So the app actually allows you to schedule the chiller to go on and off. You can adjust the temperature remotely. There's a good part. If your chiller actually turns off, the app notifies you, gives you a push notification that says, hey, like your chiller turned off. If you're expecting to go into the water in the morning, you'd want to probably get up from your bed or wherever you got the notification and come upstairs and restart the machine.
That's key. That's so key. Like for me, we were in Florida. I have above ground power, and unfortunately, like the power does go off sometimes at night, and then in the morning I'll come out to cold plunge, and my cold plunge is usually it's not hot, but it's not on, and I'm like, what the heck, man? This is crazy. I get the safety features. I definitely understand GFIs are important. But man, it's crazy that like, it just stinks when that happens. And it's crazy that more people haven't made that adjustment, because that's a complaint that I've had in a conversation I've had with a lot of the other brands. It's like, hey, is there any way to like get it to just auto kick back on if the power does get surged or it does go down, or if, you know, like Tico or whoever is playing around with it, like, because it's kind of a frustration point for me. I know it's a frustration point for some viewers too. So I'm gonna give Daniel an opportunity. I want you to completely proud pop a moment. Tell me the things about this chiller that truly like make you proud. And
our chiller has a lot of great components in here. Like the great design, said our water loop and our electrical are divided. So even if you do have a little bit of condensation happen, it's not in contact with any of the main controls. And also the design that we've made gave us a rating of IPX5, which is an elevated waterproofing rating that basically just means we've taken our time to waterproof this thing a little bit more than others. So again, back to the design, and everything's really thought through here. Something else is that we're one of the only manufacturers that actually has UL CSA certification, meaning the electrical safety standards. We have like the highest electrical safety standards.
Sweet.
Many of the, again, if you go to like the Aqua chillers or any of the other ones, not many of them actually have it. So it's expensive certifications that you have to go through and acquire. So again, obviously safe for your use. And one of those features is having this GFI. So yeah, like David said, this GFI sometimes kicks off when when a storm goes through. Because of that, we've actually added a push notification to your phone to notify you that it went out, so for you to go and restart it and all that.
So Daniel, I do have a question I want to ask, and we talked about this on the phone. I had a call with him and Mike, which is the other founder, and we were talking about the pricing. Yeah. And in a world where everybody seems to be 2xing their price, like we're looking at $5,000 chillers, and I've got chillers that I've reviewed that are over $5,000 for the chiller itself. Why haven't you guys like jacked your prices way up? And I think the answer you gave me was awesome, and it's one of the reasons like I invited you to my house and I want to spend some more time with you. The viewers deserve to hear it from you as well. So why aren't you guys, or why haven't you guys been crazy on your pricing?
Yeah, so we totally consider this like our comparable chillers. Even though our chiller, we believe that is superior in many cases, we just really brought it back to why we started this whole thing. And we started it from having my knee injured and trying to share the modality that really helped me get through like kind of a dark time in my life. And so because of that, we keep on bringing it back. Hey, like, do we need to bring it up at the time when actually most people need this? We've really wrestled hard to keep the price down and to not transfer any price increases onto the consumers. We've actually just been on our mission to deliver the best product, continuously innovating and giving the accessibility to the audience, to the consumers.
So that was a very technical way of saying, and I'll recap it. What they told me is like, we want more people to be able to experience cold water therapy, and jacking the prices up and making the prices crazy, and even like it's justifiable because everybody else is doing it. They don't want to have to do that. They want more people to be able to get into cold water. So I like respected that, bro. I thought that was super cool. I'm grateful for it.
Another point is that we actually own our manufacturing. So
that's huge.
Yeah. So when you have another competitor that has to spin up, that actually buys from a second party and incorporates it into their bundle, the prices, there's kind of a markup happening in that point.
Yeah.
So when you own your own process from A to Z, you're able to control the quality, control the price more, and can choose to either extend that to the customer or just put it in your own pocket. So we've gone the customer route and actually delivered the savings for the customer.
I love that, bro.
Yeah.
That's honestly like a really cool thing that you don't see a lot of people doing. So kudos. So we just slid the cover back on. It was actually really easy, but it It didn't need 2 people. Now we'll just connect the cover back on.
That's it, you heard the connection?
Yeah. And then that's magnetic. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and so how you take this out is you take maybe like a flat screwdriver or something flat, and you kind of pop the screen
And just grab
like
it.
this, and you just put your
I would
fingers.
have never known that.
That's it, and then you can access the filter here.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the point for that.
So simple. So there we have it. We just realized that his plane board's in about 15 minutes, and we're 15 minutes away, so you got to hit the road. We will do another video. I want to have you and Mike come back over. I'd love to have Mike over too. Dude, bring your family, bring the kids. We'll play around on the lake, have some fun.
Bring Michael.
We'll break open a few more chillers and take a deeper dive into some of those. Now that I feel a little more comfortable with what's going on inside, I might actually do some dissection of these active aqua chillers and learn a little bit more about them. But dude, thank you so much for giving us the rundown of your chiller, like being vulnerable enough to like open it up and show us. Not everybody would feel comfortable doing that. So thank you for being the first founder willing to do that. That's awesome. To those of you watching, I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, all the normal YouTube stuff, because I do have a lot of epic content coming very, very soon. Like this video, ask any questions in the comments below, all that fun stuff. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day, my friends, and God bless. And speaking of next video, I'm gonna have a few videos pop up on screen over here, so just click on one of those, subscribe, or don't. Do whatever you wanna do. Honestly, right? That's like, just do whatever you wanna do.
Do what you wanna do.
But I love you guys.